Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to a new episode of Unfiltered Tea with Malu. I'm your host and today I would like to talk about something very personally. I hope I won't get emotional because to be honest it's already the fourth time I'm trying to film this and I'm just thinking to myself like I'm pretending too much. I'm pretending too much. I just want to yap today. I just really want to yap, and I just hope someone can find some inspiration from it, and that it will also make you think more deeply about yourself. And I think that's how I'm gonna do it today, because I'm better at yapping than following the structure and whatever. Because otherwise, it's just not gonna work for today. That normally I always smile at the beginning of my video, and now I came in straight like a little bit sad. Today, I would like you to ask yourself, do you actually love yourself? Because that's a question I was asking myself last week. Why? Because I was in a situation where I felt a lot of anxiety. I can remember from the last episode or something, I spoke about feeling this hyperventilation, this from the stress and this pressure on my breast. Is it my breast? Anyway, this pressure on my breast where I felt like someone was just strangling me because I just cannot breathe because of stress and anxiety. And another thing I do when I have that feeling for a longer time because of one certain situation is I lock myself into my room. I don't come outside. I don't go to the gym. I don't speak to my friends. I barely eat till the point where when I get up, I nearly fall down. And after day 2 or 3, I was just thinking to myself, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you basically punishing yourself for the situation that you're in? For some reason, you feel like it's valid to basically abuse yourself right now. That's not okay. That's not how Malu would treat herself if she would love herself. So what's going on? What's going on? Like, why are you hating? Why are you being your own hater right now? Because if you love yourself, you should want the best for yourself. And that made me think and think and think about the question, when do you love yourself? What is the definition of loving yourself? Because I also feel like people have a different definition for that. For example, when I'm single and I say that I want to have a boyfriend, some people tell me, oh, you need to love yourself first. Okay, so when do I get to a point where I love myself enough for me to have the right to be in a relationship? I don't know. I don't really get it. Because I feel like loving yourself is a long life process, and you will love yourself only more through experiences, by knowing yourself more and by knowing what you want, by setting your standards, by overcoming certain fears, by eliminating, or how do I say that? Having less bad habits. Self-love is difficult to define because it can mean a different thing to every single person. Do you still love yourself when you hang out with friends that have a bad influence on you? Do you love yourself if you stay in an abusive relationship? Do you love yourself when you have a job that you know is draining you, but you're not leaving it because of the money? This is a very open question, so I won't even be able to answer it for everyone today, but it might make you think. When I was younger, I didn't really have a lot of people that looked the same as I looked. So because of that, I also felt more insecure automatically. And what happens when you feel insecure? You let all these thoughts and these opinions from other people come in. Because the barrier you have, the barrier you set in front of people is very weak. So if you are insecure about yourself, and a person at school when you're a child calls you ugly, calls you whatever, there's more likelihood for you to believe that. And the way you talk to yourself and the way you treat yourself is so important for the rest of your life, for yourself, for the choices that you make in the future. I believe in what is it called? Positive affirmation. Looking into the mirror saying, I'm beautiful and I'm smart and this and that. But I think it goes much deeper than that, okay? Because It's also about keeping your word to yourself. For example, if I say that I want to go to the gym because I want to change something about my health, and I then don't go to the gym as I said I was going to do, not because there were certain circumstances and therefore I cannot go, no, just because of laziness, just because I am not disciplined, then how can I trust myself? How are other people going to take me seriously? And can I truly, how can the words I love myself truly come out of my mouth? Because I'm not even keeping my word to myself. This, what I see, my hands, my face into the camera. I believe that we've borrowed our body from God. Okay. I believe that we are spirits. And when we were born, there was a spirit that came into our body, or like during the pregnancy. I don't know. Okay. It's just my thoughts. But yeah. So I believe that we are spirits having a human experience. I also don't believe that I'm ever alone because I'm always with myself. That means I see myself as a separate person. I don't really know how to explain it, okay? But I see myself as a separate person. If I am the kindest to other people, if I give positive affirmation to other people, I should also give it to myself. How I treat others, I should also treat myself like that. When I'm soft on other people and very understanding, I also need to be like that to myself. Because what do I win by beating myself up for making mistakes? Right. So that's when I told myself, Mariama, sorry, you're not going to lock yourself in a room for something you cannot do anything about. You will figure this shit out eventually. And I always will. Because look at me, I'm 21. I'm not saying that I know everything, okay? I'm not saying I'm the most wise person on earth. But it's just to say I'm 21 and I'm still standing here. I'm still alive. And look at my skin's looking good. My skin's looking good. I have a roof above my head. I have food to eat. I'm able to move my body. I have people around me that love me. So everything will be all right. But by staying in bed and just not eating, girl, you will lose your ass. You will lose your ass. You will also lose that stomach, but you'll also lose your ass. So get up and eat something, because why would you do that to yourself? Also, another thing, I don't believe in you need to love yourself first and then you can go into a relationship with that. Because if you don't love yourself, that somewhere there's truth in that, okay? Because you cannot be fully unhealed with unhealthy patterns into your mind, because when you go through something traumatic, your brain gets wired in a very different way. You start seeing the world and people and the things you have PTSD from another point of view. And when you haven't dealt with that, when you haven't faced that, you cannot go into a relationship and then expect it to be also healthy. At the same time, I feel like some experiences just make us and the people that we are today. For example, me with my daddy issues. I've talked a couple of times about my dad on here. I really overthink a lot. And to be honest, I have a kind of a fear of abandonment. A little bit, maybe a little bit. So yes, I worked on that because there's a lot of change that have happened from the moment when I was 16 till 21. I'm not the same person anymore, and I deal with situations very differently. Why? God keeps on putting situations on my path that have to do with that bad habit of mine where I get tested, and I feel like I finally conquered a little bit, okay? But that doesn't mean that I can get fully rid of that anxiety. Some parts of the bad habit that I have will always be at least a trigger in my mind. The change is in how you react towards it. That's what makes it change. The way you respond to your trigger, how you can control your trigger in certain situations. I do sometimes still have these triggers. I don't want to make anxiety my personality, but you get what I mean. I feel like a part of that has become my personality, and my character is just the type of person I am right now. Does that then mean that I am not allowed to be in a relationship because I'm not healed enough? I don't think so. Because also a thing is, when you leave a toxic relationship, there's only so much work that you can do by yourself. I can remember I left a toxic relationship and I was single and I felt great. I thought I did the work on myself, I grieved the relationship and I realized certain stuff and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do different in the future. And then I thought to myself, oh, I'm healed. So I started partying and going out and this and that and this and that. But the thing is, I didn't really like someone during that time. So now, when another person came on my path that I truly liked, all of a sudden I'm getting all these triggers and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm panicking and what the hell? And that is because there are, like I said, there's only so much that you can do on your own. When you don't truly like a person, they are not gonna trigger the deep things that are your true fears. What's underneath is a whole lot more what you cannot see. When you get into a new relationship, this person is gonna trigger deeper things. And that's the moment where you can put another layer of work on that and heal more. I also don't like the word healing, because what is healing? You just encounter something in life, gives you PTSD, you move on, and then you try to deal with it. I don't think we can get fully healed from something, because it will always change us as a person. We will never be the same person again before that happened. This is not even going to be a long video. Like, I know that most of the time I yap and I yap and I yap, and the video will be like 40 minutes, and then I'll edit it and it will still end up being 30 minutes or something. Today it's not going to be a long video because, not going to lie guys, I'm just not feeling like being funny today. I don't know, like, but I'm also my period, so it's like I'm having these mood swings. I really don't know, but I just wanted to yap today. And this question of if you truly love yourself, how you truly love yourself, it did come and stay in my mind for like a couple of days now. So I just wanted to talk about it. Just sit down one time and ask yourself, like, the bad habits that I'm having, why am I having these bad habits? And how or why am I harming myself? It's a process, but it's just important to start somewhere, because of what I was thinking, I actually got up out of my bed. I started going to the gym again and I started eating again, because whatever happens in my life, at least I still need to treat myself good, you know? Okay, well, that was it for today, guys. It was just, this is all I got, okay? This is all I got. But I hope that in some way I could make you think also a little bit about yourself, about the habits that you're having, about the definition of self-love, because yeah, like I said, it's a long life process, and I don't think that we will ever stop finding new ways of self-love. And it all just depends on our environment, our mindset, and how we treat ourselves. Have a nice evening, or whenever you're watching this, have a nice day, have a nice evening, have a nice morning, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.